Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. And today, as you can see in the title, we are doing another pickups video. The pickups never stop. Got some really good titles on this video that I think you guys will enjoy. Shout out to my buddy Joe Rad for the first game that's going to be on this list. I didn't even know this game existed, so happy about that. But anyways guys, let's get right into the video. Here's Cygni, all guns blazing. I found out about this game probably, I want to say a couple of days ago. And I thought I was going to jump into something that was going to be fairly easy. This game is not. I mean, there is a learning curve that everybody will have to like figure out. And I tell you guys, make sure you go to the tutorial mode so you know how to play the game. Because I thought I could just go in the game pretty much all guns blazing. And it turned out like I got beat up. Now, I did pretty good, but I just didn't make it even halfway point of the first level. So this is a vertical shoot 'em up developed by Konami, I believe, at least published by them. And might be a good sign that Konami is like getting like back in the mix of like putting out titles, which I'm happy with. But this game starts out, I want to say, pretty strong. You know, I thought that I was doing pretty well, but there's a lot of enemies on the screen and they're coming at you fast. Now you can move around fast as well, but it's just intense action like all the time, so you don't get like a break. And what I was messing up with in this game is that there are ground enemies shooting at you, and you have to like use another button to shoot at them themselves. So I wasn't really like firing at the ground enemies, and I was taking damage. Now, once I went through the tutorial mode, I figured all that out, and I did a lot better. I actually completed the first level, even though it was still challenging. But this game is like one of those games that you have to like, you have to get upgrades. So once you get the upgrades, I'm pretty sure the game will be a lot smoother for me. I'm still working on that, but it's just not a game that holds your hand like a lot of other shooters do. It's tough, but it's fun and rewarding, and I love it. Now, the first stage has like 3 bosses alone on it, and you won't even, like, you could beat the bosses, but sometimes they'll just dip out and retreat, so I'm not sure what kind of repercussion that'll have later in the game, but it's probably something like to do with a trophy or something like that. But still, you want to beat these bosses because who knows, like, it might make the game harder if they leave and retreat, and they might come back later or something. So I'm sure you guys saw in the intro that you play as a character named Ava, and she's trying to protect her base from the alien threat. So I think there's more, like, you get a lot of story cutscenes after you beat the level. So I like to have a story-driven shoot 'em up. Very happy with that. I'm not sure where it's going to lead up to because I haven't beaten the game yet, but it seems interesting, and I'm happy they added that stuff in there. Not much else to say about the game right now, but as you can tell, I am enjoying it. So I'll probably talk about this game in a later video. White Day 2, The Flower That Tells Lies. So this is the complete edition. I didn't even know the game was released episodically. So there's 3 episodes that you have to look forward to. The first episode has to do with a girl that passed away, and you go back to the school to investigate what happened to her. Of course, you go at nighttime, which schools at nighttime are very scary looking buildings. And I like how this game starts out, but the problem with this game for me that I think a lot of people will have is that, you know, the puzzles in the beginning, they're not hard, but they just kind of like, they shouldn't be there that early. You know what I mean? You want to do a little bit of exploring before you run into a puzzle, and you run into a puzzle damn near immediately. But after you figure it out, you know, the school expands and you get to see like the environment. Now, if you like first-person horror games, this will be right up your alley. The game does have a lot of jump scares, so be prepared for that. And that's just in the first episode, so I can only imagine how the second and third episodes are going to be. But I'm looking forward to playing this game. I just wish it wasn't so puzzle heavy, you know, but maybe that's just me, you know. Some people need that puzzle in there to break up the action a bit. But anyways, if you see this one out there, I would say definitely try it out. You haven't heard of the GG Retro Box? They are pretty much a retro nostalgia. You buy mystery boxes from them, and you always get good surprises. Now, the prices vary, but on your first purchase, you'll get 15% off with my discount code. I feel like where my collection is at right now is always hard to impress me, but GG Retro Box doesn't let down. And this is a good way for somebody who's like new into collecting to start their collection. These mystery boxes are on point, and I definitely think a lot of you guys will like them. So make sure you guys hop on this deal of these mystery boxes. My code, do not forget it, it's in the description. And also remember, guys, GG Retro Box is a treasure trove of retro nostalgia. Definitely don't miss out. Here's Shikagami Part 2. Now, this is a vertical shoot 'em up that originally came out on the Dreamcast. An outstanding game. What I'm showing you here is the Dream Edition, which comes with a lot of extras, especially I'm happy with the soundtrack because this game has a lot of good music to it. But when this game officially came out to America on the PS2, it was notorious for the bad voice acting. It's hilarious. It's like the people who were like localizing it, they say, hey, we want to save a bunch of money, let's just do the voices ourselves. And it's just uninspired. It's hilarious stuff. Now, I'm not going to play it here because there's plenty of videos out about it, but it's funny. But thankfully, this one keeps the original Japanese dub, just with English subtitles if you care about the story. The game was done by a company called Alpha Systems, and I believe Part 3 was the last game they had made before they kind of had a resurgence with the Sisters Royale game. I think that's what it's called, another shoot 'em up. Very similar to Castle Shikagami. But this is one of the more solid vertical shoot 'em ups out there, so definitely pick this one up. And here is Promenade. This is a cool platform game that really has a nice looking art style to it. I don't know if I should call this a puzzle platformer. It's somewhat of a puzzle platformer because I got stuck on a couple areas in the game. Areas that were pretty simple, mind you. But once I figured it out, the great pacing in this game continued. Now, even though this game is a 2D platformer, it really takes a lot of styles from 3D platformers. You could probably already see that with the art style and the gameplay. Now, you go across a bunch of different worlds, but to get to them, you have to collect these cogs. You fight bosses, go through dungeons, all that stuff. But I think what's going to pull a lot of people in this is that you're going on a simple adventure that's going to be a great time for anybody who tries it. Now here is SophStar. You guys have probably heard me talk about this on the channel before. And if you like shoot 'em ups, vertical of course, this game is right up your alley. This is a brand new one. And it just adds so much to it, like different ships, different moves you can pull off on your enemies. One of the big aspects of this game is how to teleport past your enemies' moves and everything like that. So definitely something that I think people want to keep their eye out for. So shout out to Red Art Games for bringing this game to physical. Really happy to have this game in my collection. Alright, so here's Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked. This is the Comic-Con edition. And this comes with all three games of the original games for the Switch. Now, my favorite game in the series is actually Sparkster for the Super Nintendo. I guess I just have that nostalgia for it. You know, it was the first one I got to play, but I consider it the best one in the series, the original game. Here's a funny story. When I played this game as a kid, I could never get past the Axel fight where he's in the robot. It's like a Rock'em Sock'em robot fight. That fight was so weird for me. But I want to say around 10 years ago, I actually finally beat it. And I went crazy finally beating that boss after so many years. But if you haven't played any of these series, they are action platform games where you have a rocket pack. And you kind of like dash, do attacks, do across the screen against your enemies, fly to certain areas, things like that. It's just really a well done game. With this collection coming out, I have a feeling that somebody has like gotten the rights to the Sparkster games and they're probably making a new one. Hopefully that's the case, but I feel like that's what's happening here. Or I guess Konami just wanted to cash in, who knows. But if you guys haven't played any of these games, you owe it to yourself to get this collection. It's definitely worth it. Saints Row the Third Remastered. Now, I haven't played the Saints Row series in probably a lot of years. Really enjoyed all the games, even the fourth one. But the third one I feel like was the best one for me. Now, this remaster includes all the DLC that game had. And what initially got me into the series was my nephew. My nephew loved the second game. I think I actually got it for him for Christmas years ago. He played the hell out of that game, loved it. And then I got into the series. It still holds up. It's a very fun game, and it's co-op. A lot of people don't know that this game is still co-op. I was going to get the fourth game because I thought it got remastered too on the PlayStation 4, but unfortunately, the DLC that comes with it is not embedded on the disc and has an expiration date for the code. So I was going to get a brand new copy, but the code expired back in 2020, unfortunately. So very annoying. But you can get that expansion on the PS3 version of 4. But yeah, going back to 3. 3 was awesome. Very explosive start to it with what happens to one of your characters. You know what I'm talking about. But definitely a solid game in the Saints Row series. Here's NBA Hangtime. Now, this is a sequel to NBA Jam Tournament Edition. And I don't want to go through why they had to change the name of it instead of just calling it NBA Jam. It is a bit confusing, but this is the true sequel to NBA Jam Tournament Edition. I do want to say that this is probably the last best game since we actually got a rebranding. Well, not a rebranding, but I would say the 7th generation release of NBA Jam on the PS3 and 360. That game was actually pretty good too, and the Wii version too. But this one was the last good game, and it still shows today. It's not as good as Tournament Edition to me. It does have an updated roster and all that good stuff, but Tournament Edition was, oh man, that game was insane. Just the roster that game had. But this is definitely a good game too. Like I said, more of the same with NBA Jam. If you haven't played an NBA Jam game, arcade basketball, 2-on-2, slam dunks, he's on fire, Tim Kitzrow, all that good stuff. Here's Ultra Street Fighter 2, the new challengers. So this game originally came out on the PSN and also the Xbox Live service, I remember. But now it has a physical edition. And this one actually includes, the new character I was looking forward to was Violent Ken, which was introduced in SBC Chaos, if you guys have played that game. After 30 years, man, it's kind of crazy to think like Street Fighter 2 is still like a relevant fighting game, but it is a classic still, I gotta admit. And playing this new version, I was pretty impressed with it. But still, it's all about Street Fighter Third Strike for me always, no matter what. But this is a solid game too. But this was like kind of like a last minute buy because I had stored credit and I just wanted to use it up because I didn't know when I was going to go back to the store. So I used it and picked this game up. So if you played this game, let me know what you think. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. I haven't played this game since the Wii U version first came out, and I got pretty far in that game. I think I got to the ice levels. Was having a great time playing this game. It was a lot of fun, but unfortunately, the Wii U I was playing was on borrowed time. Nothing else to say about this game aside from it being a lot of fun. I did try the expansion game that's included with this, the Super Mario Luigi game, and that one is pretty, well, it's difficult compared to the Mario U one, but it's still pretty fun too. It just brings a bit more challenge, I would say. But if you see this out there for a great deal, which I did, I had some more trading credit and decided to pick this one up with it. Definitely worth it. Evil Dead the game. So if you guys remember, I talked about this game a couple years ago. And me and Media Glitch Stream Team, we thought this was going to be more of a co-op, like going against the computer game, but you're actually going up against another player who has the power of the Necronomicon. And it was very difficult. It was fun, but man, it was insane and just sometimes too insane. Like we would get killed immediately. Sometimes it was like it ended up not being fun. Now I don't know if they patched the game up since then, since I originally played it. But my buddy Kyle wanted to try it out because we believe the online for this game is going to go away pretty soon. So maybe they fixed some issues for it. I don't know. We're going to find out here pretty soon. But I'm somewhat excited to play it again. I actually played recent games like Friday the 13th online again. That game was terrible because everybody just sets each other up. So horrible experience. But Evil Dead, I want to give this a chance again. And this is what I always say, guys, that I wish these games would have some kind of single player, because if the online goes away, these games are a coffin pretty much. And it's unfortunate because, you know, who thought we would get another Evil Dead game, you know, but it happened. But unfortunately, it doesn't have something to really make it stick around forever, which would have been the single player. But maybe they added something in, but it's probably not very good. But anyways, if you guys have played this game recently, let me know what you think. If Kyle and I play this soon, I'll let you guys know my current thoughts on it, on the state of the game. But my last thoughts of it, which I'll link in this video on one of the cards here, I was pretty upset with the final product at that time. Here's Sled Storm for PS2. Now, I talked about the PS1 version a long time ago. I think that's a hidden gem. Very good game. And this one, I don't understand why they didn't just call it Sled Storm 2. It gets confusing, but I guess it was more of a rebranding. And it's very similar to games like SSX Tricky, if you played those games, and another game I can't think of right now. But anyways, I feel right now that I like this game better than SSX. I just feel like it's more realistic. You know, snowboarding is, you know, like both sports are pretty dangerous, but I feel like snowboarding, you can fall off the board at any time. But with this, you have a little bit more control, and as you can see in the driving here. But anyways, guys, this was one that kind of like I missed out on over the years, and I'm happy to have it now. And it definitely lives up. You know, they don't make games like this anymore. You know, it's just like it has an arcade feel to it too. But if there's more games like this that I might have missed out on, let me know, guys. Let me, only if they're good. If they're lame games, forget it. Don't even tell me about them. But if they're good like this one, you know, I want to know about them.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Every boat needs an anchor.
Here's Trip World DX. I'm actually surprised this game got another physical release. Originally, this came out on the Game Boy, and it's very rare on that system, or at least was before the reprints. But yeah, getting a physical release on the PS4 and Switch, now the game is in color. That's the DX version. And this game will be pretty fun to most folks. It's not the type of platform game that'll that's very long. I mean, it'll probably take you about an hour to beat this game if you know what you're doing. But the game still has its charm, and they added a lot of extras into this version, like sound tests, composer, interviews, things like that. Those kind of inclusions makes this really worth having, even though it is a short game. But yeah, if you guys have played this one, let me know what you think about it. Here's Steel Assault for the Switch. So I remember me and my buddy Joel saw this game when it first came out years ago. He actually did a review on it, which I'll link in this video as well. But this game, I refused to play it in the beginning because I wanted it to have a physical release. You know, 2 years later, finally the release is here. And I haven't got to play too much of it yet, but this is a fun one. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Bionic Commando, how you have to platform around. But once you get used to how the game platforms, I won't say it becomes easy because I'm still struggling. I was even struggling on the first level, but at the same time, I was having a lot of fun, and I think you guys will too. Now, your main attack in this game is the whip. Now, the whip gets upgraded, so it'll have projectiles that'll come out of it that really help, as long as you get upgrades for it, though. I'm pretty sure this game will woo a lot of old school fans. Sprite-based graphics in, like myself. I mean, this game looks beautiful and the music is on point. I just wish that it had a physical for the PlayStation 4, but luckily we still got a physical for the Switch, which I'm happy with. But definitely keep this gem on your radars, guys. I think it will not let you down. Super Zangyura. This game is very nostalgic towards Castlevania type game. So it plays exactly like an old school Castlevania game. The only difference with this one is that you have to make sure you find keys to move to certain areas because you don't want to get far in the level and then all of a sudden you need to go back and grab a key. So you got to be careful of that. But this game is a lot of fun. There's lots of traps, not too bad, but still just enough for you to make sure you want to pay attention. Very fun game. So far, I think I'm on the 4th level, and I'm trying to get past it, but I was having a good time with this one. A must-have game if you like old-school platform-type games. Here's Heavy Fire Afghanistan. This is the Precision Edition. It comes with a gun add-on. And, this ended up only costing me $10, but I got a great deal on this, and I had never seen this before. Well, no, actually, I actually saw it once at GameStop years ago, which I always passed on it. But now seeing it again, I said, you know what, I got to go ahead and pick it up. Now, it is a little bit beat up, the box, but other than that, it's fine. Now, if you haven't played this series, they are first-person shooters. They feel more like rail shooters in a way. But this game, I would say it's maybe slightly above generic, depending on how you look at these type of games. The game maybe takes a little over an hour to complete, but yeah, that's just how these type games are. So yeah, if anybody's played the Heavy Fire series, let me know how you feel about it.
We're setting an evac point at C4625, Old Cemetery, 200 east of your position. You need to reach it as soon as possible. Please advise, over.
Copy on that. I'm moving out. Over.
And I am happy to say I finally was able to acquire the Horizon Forbidden West Regalla Edition. Very excited to have this in the collection. I was actually... Well, this actually cost like $300 back when it first came out, and of course I didn't want to pay anything like that, so I waited for GameStop to kind of discount them, and they did, but none of my local GameStops had it in stock, unfortunately. I think it went almost damn near for like $50. But anyways, got it at my local store. I was very happy to see it there. Now, just to let everybody know, if you ever see this edition out there, it doesn't actually come with a physical game. It comes with a digital code, which annoyed me because I feel like if you're paying that much for it, like what it was going for retail, you at least want to have a physical copy of the game in there. But no, it comes with a digital code, which of course was used. But a lot of cool stuff in here. I just wish that it had a physical soundtrack as well because the game has some really good music to it. What's funny is that actually me and Jason beat this game, I want to say a few months back. That was my second time playing it, and I'm probably going to play it again. Like, I want to say when we find out some information about the third game coming out, I'll probably replay it again. But I had a great time going through this one, even though I prefer the first one over this one. I talked about the issues I had with this one, but it's still a pretty good game, and I think most people will like it. So if you see it out there, I mean, this collector's edition is probably going to be like hard to find, for a cheap price. But if you just see the game out there itself, you might want to try it out.